Your Voice, Shropshire Disability Network Newsletter, July 2011. Simple tips to save your life. Guest speaker Alison Tees from Shropshire Fire and Rescue Service spoke about fire safety in the home. She gave some startling statistics. Causes of fire: 57% cooking, 18% electrical, 8% smoking materials, 6% heaters, 4% candles and 7% other. Fires by room of origin: 65% kitchen, 10% bedroom, 9% living room, 4% storeroom, 2% bathroom, 2% hallway and 8% other. The main display banner Alison used said "Stand by your pan," which is addressing the main source of fires in Shropshire. Kitchen safety messages: don't leave cooking unattended, don't let grease or fat build up in pans, don't be careless, e.g. plastic kettles or empty pots on a hot plate. If a kitchen pan fire starts, don't move it, turn the heat off, get out and stay out, close all doors behind you. This surprised people at the meeting, whose instinct would have been to tackle the fire with a wet blanket. Alison restated that fire service advice is not to touch it. One member asked if insurance companies would take a dim view if you hadn't tried to stop the fire. Alison said insurance companies would accept you had followed fire service advice. They might be keener to know what you'd been if you'd have had working smoke alarms fitted. Electrical safety: plugs and wiring, don't pull on the flex, don't let adapters and chargers overheat by leaving them on for long periods, don't overload multi-plugs and extension leads, make sure you have the correct wiring and fuses. Warning signs are hot plugs and sockets, sometimes stain brown, fuses keep blowing, and flickering lights. High-risk items: washing machines, tumble dryers, dishwashers, electric blankets and microwaves. The commonest source of electrical fires is tumble dryers, often because the filter hasn't been cleaned regularly and fluff is built up. Only 1 or 2 fires are caused by electric blankets in a year. Cigarette safety: never leave unattended, never smoke in bed. Take extra care under the influence, keep away from children. Fires and heaters: use a guard on all fires, no items on the guard, don't sit too close and don't place close to furnishings. Candles: secure in a candle holder, never leave unattended, keep away from flammable materials, not advisable to use during a power cut. Bedtime checks: slogan is turn off before you turn in. Turn off all unnecessary electrical appliances, don't leave cigarettes burning, put a guard around any open fires, switch off heaters, close the doors and keep doors and window keys to hand. Smoke alarms: smoke alarms should be fitted in all homes. Of the 4 fatalities this year in Shropshire to date, 2 were due to lack of smoke alarms. When you're asleep, your sense of smell doesn't operate, so smoke will not wake you. Smoke alarms should be fitted, 1 per floor on the exit routes, for example on each landing. They should be fitted high up, ideally on ceilings. Free fitting is available for people over 75 and for people with disabilities. Test alarms weekly and change batteries annually. Fire escape plan: main way out should be the front door. Know the alternatives. Keep free of obstructions. Security windows. Take account of disabled exit needs. Arrange a meeting place. Practice it now and don't wait until it's too late. In the event of a fire, try not to panic. Close the door on the fire. Close all doors as you leave. Get everyone out. Don't delay. Call the fire service and never go back in. If you're trapped inside, try to stay calm. Close the door. Block the bottom of the door with clothes, etc. Keep low. Open the window and shout fire. For further information, you can get a Fire Safety in the Home booklet free from the Community Fire Safety Team on 01743 260 260. To book a home safety visit, you can call 01743 260 298. Cuts and the hardest hit. Jeff Forgy, Ruby Hartshorn and Trevor Dickinson all spoke at the general meeting on the issue of how government cuts are particularly hitting the most vulnerable people in society, and this is a summary of what they said. The Hardest Hit campaign kicked off with a large march in London on the 11th of May. The campaign is designed to draw attention to the effect of the cuts on people with disabilities and to bring people together in protest. We want to ensure that people with disabilities don't lose out and are treated justly in these times of cuts. SDN is aiming to coordinate support for the Hardest Hit campaign in Shropshire. Firstly, we would like all our members and supporters to visit our website www.shropshire-disability.net and complete our simple survey, which will take no more than 2 minutes and can be accessed from our homepage. Please do this today. The survey doesn't ask for personal identification. We need to know what's happening in your individual lives and how cuts are affecting you, as a disabled person, family member and/or carer, or people you know. We will not disclose personal details as we abide by the Data Protection Act. You can also contact your MP, but please copy SDN on any emails or letters you send giving your story. We would like as many as possible to attend the Hardest Hit debate in the Shire Hall Council Chamber on Monday the 10th of October, 9:30 till 3:30. This will be hosted by Shropshire Disability Network and facilitated by Val Lewis. Please make a date in your diary now. Ruby Hartshorn gave examples of people's concerns. 1. A couple, one of whom was receiving care at home while the spouse was in a care home. Social care had told the person at home that they couldn't afford to continue paying for the spouse in the care home and that they would have to seek an alternative, cheaper care home. The person at home was worried sick, didn't know who to turn to and told all to the carer. Now SDN needs to know about this. It may be there's been a misunderstanding, or maybe SDN can point them in the right direction. 2. There are stories of GP practices altering people's medication for a cheaper alternative. 3. Some people are suffering from stress from their care, that their care may be cut at their review. SDN needs to know about this kind of story. Trevor Dickinson gave a brief summary of a report on disabled people and the cuts given at the TUC Disability Conference 2011. What the Hardest Hit campaign says. People with a disability or a long-term health condition and their families are being hit hard by cuts to benefits and services. The total cuts will mean an estimated £9 billion loss to families' incomes over the next 4 years, on top of cuts to many local care and support services. Health Information Week, Shropshire Part in West Midlands campaign. A campaign to raise awareness about health information available to everyone in the West Midlands is running this month. As part of it, displays about where to find the best information on a range of health issues will be set up across Shropshire during the week-long information campaign. NHS staff, voluntary staff, local authorities and others are working together to create imaginative displays in their local areas. It's hoped that partnership working across all organisations will benefit staff and public by raising awareness of the resources that are available to them. Health Information Week is to be held from the 4th to the 10th of July and aims to improve access to quality local information and promote healthier communities. All events during the 4th of July will be reported on in the EQI Equip section of the NHS local website at nhs.workforce/EQUIP-information/health-information-week. For more information, you can contact Sarah Greening, NHS West Midlands on 0121 695 2227, or you can email sarah.greening@westmidlands.nhs.uk. Throughout Health Information Week, a special display will be on show in the Shrewsbury Health Library at the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital, Mitten Oak Road, Shrewsbury, SY3 8XQ. For details about everything that's happening in Shropshire and elsewhere in the West Midlands, you can visit nhslocal.nhs.uk/workforce/equip-information/health-information-week. Smarties X Chain Store Clothing. Bring along a friend. This is a ladies' fundraising fashion show. All Care Shropshire are fundraising in aid of Shropshire Disability Network. Tickets are available from All Care Office, or you can contact Anne Speak on 07773 466 730. We're holding an exciting fundraising fashion show and clothes sale to include cheese and wine, raffle and makeup demonstration. This is a rare opportunity to buy end-of-line and surplus stock from all your favourite high street stores at half store price or less. The venue is Westbury Village Hall, Westbury, SY5 9QU. The date is Thursday the 21st of July, 7:30 start, and tickets are £6. The government's plans to make savings at the expense of the disabled include cutting 20% from the budget for Disability Living Allowance, DLA. Disability Alliance estimates that over 700,000 disabled people could see their benefits reduced or removed. DLA helps disabled people with the extra costs of disability, and without it, more disabled people will be pushed into poverty. The cuts could have a knock-on impact on carers' allowance, leaving thousands of families even worse off. Taking mobility payments away from disabled people in residential care and children going to residential schools, cutting these payments would trap many in their own homes. Cutting off payments of contributory employment and support allowance after a year to people struggling to get back into work due to disability or serious illness. The Hardest Hit campaign brings together disabled people, carers and groups that represent them. It wants to send a message to the government: stop these cuts. As a supporter of the Hardest Hit campaign in Shropshire, SDN urges you to spare 2 minutes to complete our survey at www.shropshire-disability.net. This is a simple and anonymous way to take part in the campaign. Unpaid carers save nation $119 billion a year. New estimates calculated by the charity Carers UK and Leeds University show the care provided by friends and family members to ill, frail or disabled relatives is now worth $119 billion every year. That's $2.3 billion per week and $326 million per day. The figure has risen by over a third since the 2007 estimate, and the carers' contribution now far outstrips the total cost of the NHS, $98.8 billion. There are around 6.4 million people providing care for ill or disabled loved ones that would otherwise cost the state £18 an hour, meaning that each carer saves, on average, £18,473 a year. Given this massive contribution, Carers UK argues that society must do more to support growing numbers of carers. Chief Executive Imelda Redmond, CBE, said, "Our society and public services could not function without the massive contribution made by over 6 million carers. This contribution is something we can be proud of as a country and demonstrates how strong our families and communities are. With an ageing population, caring is becoming a fact of life for every family. Yet whilst families are meeting this challenge, many are struggling with little or no help, or facing cuts to the care services and benefits they rely on. Unless we urgently rethink how our society supports carers, we will see increasing numbers pushed to breaking point, forced out of work and into poverty, ill health and isolation." Carers UK is part of the Hardest Hit campaign, www.hardesthit.org.uk. Mapping the misery. The Guardian is running a Cuts Watch map which identifies what is being cut and where. The link is www.guardian.co.uk/society/Cuts Watch. And speaking of maps, Voluntary Sector Cuts is a new collaborative project which maps intelligence about voluntary groups experiencing reductions in public sector funding. If you're involved in a voluntary or community group which has been told its statutory funding will be reduced, you can be part of this work by sharing your story. Just fill in the simple form you will find at voluntarysectorcuts.org.uk. Share your experiences and the impact the cuts will have on the people who use your services. Your contribution will be crucial to building a wider picture of the scale of the challenge ahead in your community, your region, or nationally. Cuts that you share here will be made available publicly in a Google spreadsheet. This has been taken from the Shropshire Infrastructure Partnership newsletter, the 31st of May, 11.